Johnny, whoops, there we go. It did not come over for some reason. Hello there, welcome to JonnyBuildz. I am your host, Johnny, and we've got our two intrepid Pittsburgh pal Lego Masters with us. Say hi. Can you guys hear? Ooh, they can't hear. They cannot hear me. Oh, you know why? Hold on. No, they should be able to hear. Hold on. There we go. You guys should be able to hear me now. There we go. I clicked on the wrong thing. I had it cancel the one thing and not the other. So say hi.
Hi.
There we go. All right. So we are here because episode 3 has happened, and that means lots of stuff and lots of twists and turns, just like they've been doing this entire season. So let's get into it. Starting at the beginning, the doors open, and tell us what you see.
It is a jungle wonderland. I remember seeing this big creature and thinking, wow, I need to learn how to sculpt like that.
All right. What about you, Krista? What did you think whenever you saw the waterfall and everything?
Yeah, I was like, okay, where's this going?
Did you have any, being that it was a giant waterfall, did you have any thoughts as to like what the challenge might involve?
Not necessarily, because just because something's up front doesn't mean it always gets used.
Right.
So, in Star Wars, in that episode, they blew stuff up.
Right.
So it could have been anything.
Right. Yeah, they've been trying, and you can tell from, the fact that Will constantly mentions it is like, hey, we have a twist to keep the show fresh and new, and yeah, it's like what they were trying to do very, very much on this particular season. So Will announces the scene you're supposed to do is, was it specifically it had to be on a boat, or it's just because it was water, most everybody pretty much did kind of a boat type thing for what they were doing?
It was jungle related. So going over the falls, I think, was the actual challenge. You had to build something that was going to go over the falls and smash spectacularly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no requirement for it to be a boat specifically. It just had to be a dazzling character.
And did you feel that aspect, because let's refer back to the cake and the planets, both of those challenges, they're like build really big, something colossal, whereas this, they didn't mention that. They were all about story, detail. Did you feel that was more in your wheelhouse?
Yeah, character challenge for sure was in our wheelhouse. So we were excited about this one because we finally get to showcase what we can do.
Right.
Yeah, Krista looked at me right away and said, "We got this."
Nice.
Yeah, we do. I was like, it's storytelling, it's characters. See, we do got this. I love it.
That's good. Apparently, the dog is excited about it too.
He was very excited about it.
So, the first chest appears at the top of the falls, comes down and shatters. What are your initial thoughts? What are you're like? What is this?
This is it. This is it. It's
I was
that
like,
time.
okay, yay, we finally get to build something cool. We're finally going to get some time to build. I was like, because surely it's a drop challenge. We're going to need some time to build. So
right.
This is finally, we're here. This is episode 3. We're finally getting used to the brick pit. It's like it finally had started.
Yeah. And
you see the golden brick, and was it immediately something that you're like, and that might be where you have your face where you're like, ooh, it's like the golden brick appears, and was that like, where we've been the last 2 episodes, we probably need this thing?
Yeah, I think we were just trying to put out a good build. I don't know if we were trying to, in particular, get the golden brick. This time it was kind of go in, have fun, and do what is more characteristic of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first two builds were very stressful in different ways. The first one, you're getting used to the brick pit, the production, all of that. The second one, we overcorrected because our build was too small. We went too big, and now we finally felt like, you know what, we're here to have fun. Let's just go out and have fun. And it's a character challenge. We can do this.
Right.
Totally agree.
Good. All right. So you get 6 hours to build, and we actually get to find out about you guys in this episode. And we got to hear it when we were at Dave and Buster's again for this particular episode, because somebody, I guess I would say both of you, were very expressive of like, this is a good one,
This was a fun episode, though. This was a very fun episode. I think you really got to start seeing people's personalities.
Mm-hmm.
As they were building, yes, the snort off was kitschy, but Maya and Jamie are just silly like that. So like,
right.
it was fun to actually start seeing people's personalities come out on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were as many distractions as there were in this episode. There was a lot of camaraderie and love as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that our build time chant made it into the episode.
That was cool, since you had mentioned that last week, and said that and it was neat to be able to see that, and and of course the coach was the one that was like, hey, that wait, I can't remember quite how it goes. Can you guys help?
That is Anthony saying he needs to pump us up. But we love him, and it's just a build time chant. So what time is this?
Yeah. Build time. So you're planning. I mean, like, it seemed like, and again, they focused more on you guys on the episode, and talking about you, and it seemed like your planning was very quick. Like you're just like, ooh, we got to do a monkey. Like what led to that?
Yeah, it was just kind of one of those waterfall character. What's in a jungle? Monkey on a leaf surfing down the waterfall.
Nice.
Yeah. It was kind of instantaneous, and the whole story came up of Will a monkey, the cheeky little monkey.
Cheeky little monkey.
He was trying to escape his cousin, the Monkey King.
Mm.
He had stolen the golden brick from his cousin, the Monkey King, and he was escaping the jungle through the waterfall.
Yeah, so one thing you don't see super clearly in the episode was, in one hand he had the golden brick, and the other hand he's like doing like peace out and like as he's surfing.
Yeah, I did not notice that. I picked up the surfing part, and it looked like he had like I don't know, like a sash or something that was kind of like hanging off or whatever. But it was I did not notice that detail.
Yeah, it was a golden necklace that he had stolen as well.
Ah, gotcha.
And then when he comes crashing down to the bottom of the falls, he spectacularly explodes, and all of the jewels that he's kind of squirreled away in his belly explode out of him.
Right. Yeah, and that did, and I think they did come out pretty good. So, as you started building, what challenges did you face? And what did you think about them? Was it something that, like, as you're building, like, oh, you know what, I'll come back to that, or was it like, oh, we really got to address this now?
Yeah, I think for us it was, getting the feedback from the Brickmasters really kind of gave us pause and pivot. Hey, Raven.
Everybody says hi.
Hi.
Live show here,
Hello,
folks.
Internet.
Yeah, so like I understood where the Brickmasters were coming from.
Right.
And the feedback made sense. So it was one of those things that we're like, ooh, we definitely have to pivot on this. I would have... It's one of those things I go back and forth. I would have liked to make it a stronger connection, but I felt like if we did, it wouldn't have crashed as spectacularly. You
Okay.
know,
Because you're building for it to break apart as
Right.
well as be sturdy. And so I agree. I think we were on such a trajectory from the start of the episode that once the Brickmasters came over, we kind of like, huh, now what? What do we do now?
Right.
Because as wish as I might to have had more time, as you said, we only had 6 hours.
Right.
And that was kind of a recurring theme of this season, is these crazy build time hours.
Yeah. And like I know personally just from building some of the large, I know how much time it can take to build, like, and especially going from immediate planning to to build, to concept, to build, to like details and I mean, like 6 hours is not that much time.
No, it's not that much time, especially when you have to gather the bricks, sort everything out. It's a lot. But
have a snorting contest. Yeah.
You cheeky little monkey.
Yeah.
In 6 hours.
Yep. Absolutely. So whenever, we already addressed whenever they came over to give the criticism. Do you feel like when you eventually changed that was the right call in order to make it so he was more stable?
yeah, I think so. I mean, his feet stayed on the board.
Well, that's true. They did.
They did. And when you
that
look
is-
at the slow-mo, his feet are still attached to that
Yep.
board.
They were still there. Going down and bloop. They were still there. You are correct.
One of the things that I thought was funny, I heard on a podcast, was it was kind of like a clown car. Like as soon as Will let go, the sides fell off. And that's on me. That was my surfboard. I was trying to make it wider, and the leaves just kind of, whoops, they just kind of fell off.
the leaves drooped, So I mean, like, that's okay. That's what they do, They hit water. There you go.
Exactly. If I was faster at thinking on my feet, I would have said that the monkey king caught up to our cheeky little monkey and tripped him at the falls, and he did not get away. But, I was a little devastated in the moment.
Totally understand. But I mean, Will loved the cheeky little monkey. Now, was the name referring to Will also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a direct kind of nod, and cheeky little nod at that too.
So how much, I mean, again, you this was your wheelhouse, you knew detail and that sort of thing. What did you think as you were building and you saw everyone else kind of doing their builds and stuff? And I know they went to, the different tables and they're like, hey, look, this is, so and so's doing this, blah blah blah, and you had 2 pigs, which was kind of interesting, and or pig-related ones, I guess you could say. And then you had like the sloth, the caterpillar, those kind of things. Were you sizing... Happy puppy. Were you sizing things up a bit, or were you just like, nope, we're focusing on what we're doing?
Yeah, I think the only tables that we really kind of looked at were like the ones in our immediate vicinity. Because we were next to Luke and Anne. So we kind of knew what they were doing. And I can't remember who was on the other side of us.
John and Justin.
Ah,
okay.
Yeah. So, like, those were the people we probably talked to and, like, looked at the most. Because we ran past their tables the most.
Right, yeah. Yep. Totally makes sense.
And then the other one that I kept focusing on was Anthony and Joe, because the technique he used on the hair was just amazing.
That hair looked really awesome.
So cool.
Yeah. And it showed in the end result of the episode, too, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you don't really have time to focus on other people, because every minute that you focus on your competitor is one less minute you have to focus on your own build.
Right, yeah. Nope, totally agree. So as you watch yourselves in this episode, you're amongst all, a whole bunch of lug friends and everything like that, and you're watching yourselves in the episode, was there anything that's specific that kind of like stuck out and about maybe things you might have said or done or anything, and how did that come about?
I'm a meme again.
You are a meme again.
Every single episode, I somehow managed to stick my foot in my mouth and say something funny.
So how that one kind of came about is we're not allowed any reference images.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is all from like memory, your own ideas, whatever. And I was just having a moment. I was like, I can't remember where the tail goes.
It's very nonchalantly said, it doesn't matter, just put it in the butt. Because that's where tail goes. It's in the butt.
That's where a tail goes. And it's kind of funny to think about it too, because like right now you could be like, oh, where's the tail go? Immediately you know where it's, but like in that moment you're just like, you blanked.
Yep, I totally spaced, and I was like, in hindsight, I'm thinking like, okay, dog tail, monkey tail, they're about the same thing. But like in that moment, I just put in no.
Doesn't matter. Just put it in the butt. That was so great.
Now I'm a meme again, and it's amazing.
It is awesome seeing that and seeing things come from it.
Yeah, I love it.
So judgment time comes, and both the judges think your build has a lot of character, and the story's good, and the details are good. With the amount of time that you had, and as you build it and put it together, do you feel like you were able to hit all the points that you wanted to as far as that goes, or everything that you felt was necessary for them to see?
Yeah, Amy is huge on character.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like her voice in my head already being like, and personality. I can't do the accent, but like it has to have a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw that monkey face, we're just like, Amy's gonna love this. Jamie's gonna love this. Like this is Lego Master Building right here.
Right.
So we were really happy checking off that box. And our storytelling has always been on point, thanks to Marcella. So
Nice.
I feel like we were like ticking off the boxes as we went.
I just
and
put
he
up.
Just looks so cute in the room.
I just put up the picture of Will A. Monkey, and now that I'm looking at it, I can see in his right hand he's got that well, in this case it's yellow, but still it's a golden brick, and like that's the thing he stole. And I see it now. I see the necklace and everything. So yeah, you hit all the detail points. It looks really good. The tongue looks so good, and like even from the beginning, whenever they were going through like the initial parts of the episode, and they're like with the slow-mo, and like a couple other people had the same idea of like whenever it's going down the falls, that face is going to be very, apparent. And so like, you got to, make sure that is being like, ah, or whatever,
Yeah. Yep. And as it comes, even though it, it kind of fell apart, and, when he pushed it over the falls, if you watch that slow-mo section, it still looked pretty great. That
it did.
Falling down. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was pretty satisfied by that smash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the smash ended up being really good, even with the unfortunate catastrophe that befell the monkey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So see, and there's another storytelling point. You could be like, oh no, the Monkey King got to him.
Yep. He tripped him up and he didn't make it over the falls.
That's right. Yep, he did not. Well, he did. It was just in pieces.
In pieces.
Pieces parts.
The curse of the Monkey King.
Mm-hmm. So first, the announcement of, and you heard this towards the beginning of the episode, that all of you are voting on, who is going to get the golden brick. Which, yeah, I kind of see that, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like that's almost going, that can almost be a negative thing overall, because like no one dislikes anybody, but like you're trying not to give someone, certain someone's an advantage that they don't need, that sort of thing. How did you feel about being the ones that have to vote on that?
I think we were okay with it. It was definitely an interesting twist.
Mm-hmm.
And now, hindsight's 2020. I'm hearing all these strategies of kind of what we should have done or could have done, as a cast. But there'd never been an occasion to like vote on anybody for anything.
Right.
So I think our mindset was just the best build.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a lot of teams' mindsets too, was, it was kind of based off merit.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, Anthony and Joe had the best build. That hair.
By far.
Tube, the way it came off of the falls. And that's not to say that Ben and Michael didn't have a great build. They did have a great build, and I love the mechanics of the farmer's arms, you know, cooking up and down, going over the falls. It looked hilarious. It's just, I thought Anthony and Joe's was better.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, as we say in the lug, no comparisons. Build well, play well.
Yep.
And they made us vote for somebody. So that...
Yeah, and I think, I agree. Like the hair was just like the whole build had more character.
The whole story with it too. You know, like the snacks that he had and everything. Like it was just the level of detail. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
Yep. But so the golden brick is given, and then you end up in the bottom two against I can't think of their names.
Alex and Joan.
Yeah. And who did the kind of, in my mind, goofy kind of looking dragon, and which, how, you know, again, third time's a charm, it seems, and like you're in the bottom two again. How did that make you feel?
It sucked, but I don't think
it sucked.
I don't think it was unexpected for us after he didn't go down the falls. Like I think at that point we just knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
didn't make it easier. It just
like, all right. It just it was like it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way the monkey crumbles.
Yep.
Well, and he definitely did in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
So the judgment is read, and you are sent home. Your third and unfortunately final episode for the season. Definitely emotional, you could tell. Definitely lots of tears. What's running through your head as you're doing this big giant group hug with everybody? What was it like?
I was too busy crying.
Aw.
It was a bittersweet kind of goodbye. Like, we knew we were going to be friends with these people forever. They're kind of like our new family.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was kind of sad to leave because I think we know we had more to give.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's the way it goes. You have one bad day, something doesn't go your way. You know, you could be the best builder in the world, and that could be the end of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just, if I have any wishes, it would just have been for more time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be my slogan for this whole thing. I wanted more time in the build room. I wanted more time in the challenges. I wanted more time with my new friends. I just wanted more.
Well, that's a good way. That's a really good way to look at it. Yeah, I like that. Did you feel, especially with this particular challenge, like you got to be able to at least put out your best at that point? You know, again, rushing aside, you know, only have, you know, the limited time or whatever. Because I mean, I think everybody thought that monkey was cheeky and cute. So like did you feel like that was at least a very good representation of what you can do?
Yeah, I was very happy that we got to go home on a good build.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have been more disappointed if we just like messed up the challenge completely.
Mm-hmm.
This, we gave it our all. It just didn't go our way. But everybody got to see that adorable, cheeky little monkey. And, you know, Will Arnett spent a lot of time with us talking with that monkey. So, like, I'm happy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think we did amazing, and I'm happy we went out on a good build.
Yeah, and we got to, like you said, we got to have a great moment with Will. I got to experience Technic for pretty much the first time. It was my first time building any kind of Technic grid, and I got kind of obsessed with it.
Oh.
Afterwards, so I did rebuild that surfboard.
Mm.
And, you know, maybe there'll be a cheeky little comeback sometime in the future.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there in the future, are we going to see the cheeky little monkey make a reprise somewhere?
Oh, he will make a reprise when my budget permits.
Right. Hey, that could be project support. Only you can make like a huge cheeky buggy, you know. Yeah, see? Uh-huh.
We got to earn some money.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, and you mentioned, Marcella, you already mentioned the Technic. It kind of essentially forced you, you know, to use it in like for the first time. Is that something you now incorporate a good bit more, or, you know, what are other things that you're taking from this where it's like never had to do this before, you know, or tried something new, or like gives you an appreciation for, you know, certain building techniques or the way other people build, and it's kind of like made it so like you look at more things than just like, and I know you both are like into the details, you're into the story, and which are all fantastic, but does it give you an alternate perspective to add to what you already do?
It does. I spend a lot of time on greebling and on landscaping and detail and, like you said, storytelling. And I've tried to incorporate a little bit more technique into my life, but I don't necessarily build blocks that require it.
Okay.
Now, what I do want to start using is technique to start building frames inside of some of my builds to make them a little stronger.
Okay.
But, you know, baby steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say for me, you know, we're pretty much the storytelling, the creative, you know, and there's like 3 big tenets for being on the show. I have some technical, but this really pushed me to do my technical like to the nth degree. So I feel like where I am now is like light years from where we were when we walked on that set. So my big thing I'm focusing on right now is using the mechanics and trying to find ways to add motion and things like that. Using the spike hub.
Right.
So I'm working in that direction. It's been a slow progress because I've had some other things I've had to focus on, like that thing over there. For all of you out in the interwebs, I had shoulder surgery, so I'm one-handed right now.
So over there.
But yeah, like it's really kind of pushed me to find areas where I can really improve on and strengthen the ones that I feel I'm pretty good at already.
Good. That's
we're waiting for that callback for the Bricktacular or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That redemption show.
Yeah. They're open. They're open to it. Yeah. And you had already mentioned that, like, you know, Marcella, that, you know, you wanted more time, and like you mentioned that the friendships you created, like, and I know in talking with you guys that, you know, of some of the people that like you just, but like everybody brings their own, you know, flair and different things to the table, and because you guys are, you know, in there amongst with everybody, you know, for long periods of time, like, does it feel like it was like just something natural that like, hey, everyone kind of just, you know, first day is probably like first day jitters. Everyone's kind of like, yeah, trying to figure everything out, like you said. But by episode 2 and now episode 3, were you like, yeah, you know what, we're meshing not only as a team, but as a team, you know, the whole group.
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time together. We get up early to, you know, there's a lot of time spent with the cast. You're together all day, you know. So that bond forms very quickly. And like you said, when you first get there, you're like, okay, let me suss everybody out. And like, you know, after episode 1, someone has gone home, so people are sad. So we're all kind of clutching at each other like, oh, we don't want anyone else to leave.
Right.
You know, and then by episode 3, we leave, and then
Yep.
Yeah, I think like after that first team leaves, you kind of realize like, hey, this isn't forever. You know, because when you're there and you're having fun and you're doing all this stuff, like, not that you know it's going to last forever, but like, you just kind of get in that mentality of, this is my routine, this is what I do.
Right.
and then that team leaves, and you're like, oh wait, this changes, and there's one of these days we're going to go home.
Yeah, and that's the eventuality for almost everybody too, unfortunately. Because technically, and no one knows yet, there can only be one.
That's right. There can only be one.
So your part of the journey is done, but there are more episodes to come, and the next one is Wicked. Is that one that either of you would be like, oh, I would so have loved to have been able to do that?
Maybe. Maybe just a little. I'm kind of upset about it, and having seen a bunch of we get so many IP related challenges.
Right.
In the trailer, you saw we got Batman coming up, and the Masquerade. There's just so many things I would have loved to do.
Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah, indeed. But if you would like, after the episode airs, we can talk about it if you guys want still and want to keep going, and we'll be analyzing the episode all from the same perspective. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what we see, each of us sees, as things go.
I love it. I would love to.
Cool.
Yep, count me in.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining me for episode 3. Unfortunately, you guys went home, but you guys gave it your all. And the Cheeky Monkey, he is really cool, and you gave us an amazing meme.
Yay!
Yeah. It's
forever.
So yep. That one.
Immortal. I knew I would be immortal for something.
I'm not going to repeat it, but we all know what it is. So until next time, we'll figure out sometime next week. Might be this time, might not. We don't know. But until next time, keep on building. My normal schedule on Tuesday at 8 o'clock is I'll be doing the Yellow Lion from Voltron. We did the blue one this past week. And yeah, so until next time, keep on building, and we'll be talking again. So we'll see ya.